Okay, great. Hi there, beauty-filled world. Mwah. Shae Bryant. Blessings on this Thursday. This is episode 6 of I Am Sovereign Shae, which is a social media show that is dedicated as an opportunity for us to explore and ultimately, hopefully, actually evolve our self-sovereignty and our spiritual sovereignty in a time and in a world where we desperately need to do so. So welcome. For those of you that have been watching this series, I appreciate it. Remember, this is absolutely supposed to be, for all of us. So if there's anything that you need to hear or want to hear or resonates with you, then reach out and let me know. I enjoy that. So you are invited to communicate. In the past few episodes, I have been talking about sovereignty, and that by my definition, sovereignty is presence. It is beingness. It is actually being in alignment with your own beingness and presence, and being in alignment in the moment with that presence and that awareness. The you that is truly you is that awareness. Maybe capitalize it. Awareness of your experience. Awareness of your thoughts. Awareness of your body. You see? Awareness is actually you. So when we say, are you present? That is, are you in this moment, are you in alignment with the observer of your experience more than the thoughts about your experience? And so presence, for me, just wording it differently, calling it sovereignty, because that is the fruit, one of the fruits, one of the fruits of being present is that you are sovereign. And don't we need that, right? Sovereignty in self means that you are in alignment with your highest self, your greatest self, your heart self, your soul self, the reason that you were born on earth, the mission that you have, the love that you want to feel. All of that comes from you being sovereign. Sovereign is an active stance in life. It is a conscious lifestyle. It is a choice to dedicate to being present. Because the sovereignty that you actually want, which means that you are in alignment with yourself. When the going gets tough, you don't ditch out on you, which is what we have been trained to do by society and by fellow unconscious, humans and authority figures in our life. Our sovereignty has actually been trained out of us. You aren't taught to look within, are you? In school, in church usually, fill in the blank. When are we trained to actually get present, calm down, look within? What am I really feeling? Perhaps what hurts am I hiding? Where am I not being honest with myself? This is a practice of sovereignty, of spiritual sovereignty. So I add the word spiritual, which just implies that you are attempting to be conscious. Spirituality, as I define it, is a personal experience. I consider religions to be where somebody had a personal experience. Jesus, Buddha, there's a lot of them. They had a personal spiritual experience, and then a religion was created around that figure and around their experience. So spirituality is, wow, Jesus has told me that I can find that too, and that it is within. Buddha has shown it is possible for me too to get there. So somebody that has a spiritual practice is not just, let's say, worshiping Jesus, if that's your practice of choice, or, being a Buddhist, which isn't about worshiping Buddha so much. There's a lot of variances to this. But if your focus is about achieving the heights that they have as an example for you. Their message is, this path is also yours. You are on the path. You might just not notice it because society isn't reminding you of this. But I am. And lots of us are. And we are currently in an ascension time where millions of us are awakening. And millions of us are going to continue to have to awaken to save ourselves from also the insanity that we have within, right? The insanity of damaging the planet, of damaging our own resources that we need for survival as a species. That's a form of insanity. That's not wellness, that's illness. Well, this is about each one of us. It's definitely a grassroots effort. Each one of us awakening to that insanity within ourselves and healing it within ourselves. So if we're attempting to change the world out there, we must become sovereign and present within ourselves. Awesome. So if we are going to take that sovereign stance in our daily lives, in the boundaries we're trying to set at our workplace, as an activist in the world trying to change the world, wherever your need, which happens on probably a daily basis throughout your day, when you have to take a sovereign stance, the assignment is, of course, how present am I? Am I overwhelmed by my thoughts and really feeding them and believing them, or am I breathing? Can I feel my body? Recognizing that our number one assignment at any moment is to become present and henceforth more sovereign. Now, to take that sovereign stance, there are a few underlying issues, I call them in a way cords, that can prevent us from being sovereign. And they're in our subconscious, they're in our conditioning, and here they are. Control. So there's definitely a cord called control that most of us, myself included, more of a tendency to want to control, attempt to control reality, to attempt to control others, to think we have to constantly think, or basically our life will fall apart, right? So that false illusion, because that's what it is totally false, that we are in control, like that we could ever be in control, right? But that cord, that behavior pattern of we go into looking for control in the wrong places. So that's one of the cords that can prevent us from being present and sovereign, is when we are still desperately seeking control. Okay, so what's another one? Security and safety. When we are so scared, right, that our safety, that our security isn't there, when we go kind of into that more primal mode, right, and we're looking for security and safety outside of us and in a world or in a place they can't provide it. So that's definitely another, let's say, slippery slope there, where we can come out of presence and come out of sovereignty, is when we are desperately and kind of, we've lost it a little bit in looking for security and safety. Okay, so what's another one? Approval and acceptance. This cord can throw us off our sovereignty very easily. So again, we're a tribal species, right? We want to be in the tribe because we're more likely to survive if we are with the tribe. Good news, times have changed. You're allowed to change the tribe by being different, right? Your chances of being stoned and killed and banished, at least in the US right now, are less than they were. So a lot of us though, right, we have this within us of our ancestors, perhaps our own past lives, these experiences of needing acceptance. So how much are you thrown off sovereignty in a moment when you need to take a stance on something? Because in that moment, you are so desperately seeking approval and acceptance from the group. So those are the big guys: control, safety, security, approval, and acceptance. Those are those cords that can throw us off of sovereignty. The solution, in my humble opinion, to those and to stay in sovereignty, that you're really needing and seeking, the solution, the medicine, is connection. So connection to self, right? Connection to source, however you define that, just as energy or as some defined God, however it is for you. Connection from self source, then you could connect to another human. Because connection is far greater than their approval, right? Or acceptance. Approval and acceptance means you're already not approving and accepting yourself. So if you approve and you accept yourself, then you're not in this desperate need of so-called acceptance and approval from others. What you really want is connection from other sovereign souls, from other people who have found their own connection. That's what you're wanting. Connection here so that you can connect to another human. Psh, you don't need their acceptance or approval. These are very different energies, very different drives within us. Okay, connection is also the solution, the medicine to that desperate fear about safety and security. Because if you're building your house, if you're building your security, your sense of safety on anything made of sand, right? Of anything temporary, of any illusion like you're getting out of this alive. Because you're not, right? We ain't getting out of this journey alive. We know the end of the story. And so to falsely seek out, right, a sense of safety and security in something that can't offer it wouldn't be wise. What does offer a sense of safety and security is that truly deep connection. The gig is, the only place you can really find safety and security ever will be in the present moment. You have no idea if you will be safe in the future. You have no idea if you will be here 3 minutes from now. So staying in this moment, though, recognizing I am safe in this moment, as in I am conscious. I am alive now. Now. That is where safety and security is. It's through that connection to your present self in the present moment. Control. Well, control, I'm laughing because it's a bigger one for me, is again really recognizing, really humbling oneself from the arrogant thought that I actually have any control over all of this. I am not omniscient. I do not control this entire universe. I don't even control my entire body, right? I don't even control my blood flow. So our illusion that we have control over things that we don't causes a lot of suffering. So your point of power is noticing where you do have control. What do you actually have any control over? You have control over your perspective in any moment. Well, if you're present, you do. If you're present in the moment, then you have the ability to choose a different perspective. You have the option of a different thought to choose from. You have the option of a different behavior pattern. You can interrupt, you can change things, but only if you're present. So that's where control is, up here. Not as in I'm thinking about the world and imagining what might happen, and then what am I going to do? That illusion of control will cause immense suffering, so much anxiety, so much exhaustion. So if you can really see in any moment, what do I have control of in this situation? And if I let go of the things I never had control over in the first place, I'm going to have a ton more energy to continue forward on my path and the way that I want to. It has helped me tremendously to recognize that truly my only point of power in any moment is my perspective. Of course, I can only access that perspective if I settle down long enough to be in the moment and to notice what thought am I holding in mind right now. And that's where I have control, right? We are the observer of the thoughts, and the more that we can be that observer, we have that space to choose differently. So connection to self. Your own heart, your own vulnerability, your own hurt. How in alignment with you are you? So that is connection to self. And then connection to source, as you define it, as you do it, from that state of nourishment and sourcing so much life energy, then, and honestly only then, could you possibly connect with another. Because if you're just connecting through your ego and your thinking mind, you ain't connecting. which is the majority of our relationships and interactions. We're not actually connecting because we ain't present. We're thinking about the person rather than being with the person. So if you can connect with self, then you can derive and get that deep, intimate connection that we're all craving and that we're all needing desperately as a species. We do need connection, we do need intimacy, but it has to be presence. Awesome. So taking a sovereign stance in any moment, these are some of the practices that have greatly assisted me in doing that. Releasing those cords that can kind of pull me right out of sovereignty and right out of presence. I commend you for doing this work and doing any spiritual practices, awakening practices. And remember that it's not like, oh, I practiced for like 1 hour a day. I did my practice. The practice, the work, was every single moment. Every single moment. This moment now. How awake, how aware, how present, how much am I actually here? Awesome. All right. So the I Am Sovereign Shae show going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. on here, Central Time. And if you enjoy these videos and the talks and how this is going, if this actually is, causing you to think about it or causing a shift in your perspective, then there's a really good chance that you would enjoy my 7-week online course that's starting April 1st. And it's called The Sovereign Shift. And it is all about this. I'm going through the 7 biggest awakening teachings that I have ever experienced and studied, really to help you really affect and cause that shift that you need. That transformation that you need is requiring a shift in perspective to cause that transformation. So the 7-week course is The Sovereign Shift, and you can check it all out at sovereignshift.com. Starts April 1st. And of course, if you would like to go even deeper, if you're interested in, transformation and creating a shift in your life on absolutely any subject that you need, that is what I do as a transformative spiritual life coach, is to really help people, as I was saying, connect to self. All of my teaching, all of the work I do is to help people connect into them, to access that point of power that we do have, and to absolutely learn to be present in the moment, and then to connect to our holy assignment, our mission that we have in this world. Then we can offer it to the world when we're present and when we're in alignment with ourselves. So if you're interested in that, the way you start with me as a transformative coach is just to try it out. So we do a completely free 1-hour call, get to know each other, and then go ahead and have an experience of the work that I do. And from there, you'd know, hey, have I shifted in this call or not? So reach out if any of that interests you as well. Let's see. I think that's all I got. All right. So today is Thursday, so I'll be back on here next Tuesday, which, by the way, is March. Oh my goodness. Wishing you guys a beautiful end to your February, and sending love.